you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
It's fucking happening. And welcome back to segment number 3 of Convincing Idiots. I'm Millennial Nick, alongside Gen X Brian and the infamous Zennial Floor Cookie Dean. For our third and final segment this evening, Dean had a fantastical idea, as he often does. He thought to himself, what would it be like if I took some of my favorite drama, television, or movie performances and turned them into comedies, or perhaps vice versa, comedies into dramas. So we are going to discuss perhaps now in the group chat this morning, one person was playing in movies, the other person was playing on TV shows. I personally did both, so I think whatever we got is what we got. So why don't, Dean, this was your fantabulous idea. Why don't you give us a start here?
Okay, well, let's get some criteria down here, gentlemen. Do we want to start with, like, comedy to drama? You go through that list and then go to vice versa? Like,
sure. Let's not switch it up too much. Let's get into one lane and stay there all the way through and then round the other way.
And I don't know what direction you guys want to go to, but I started, I mistook and did all movies. But I did go back and do TV shows. I did find that TV shows are more entertaining. That I think I like my TV show choices better. So we maybe could go back and do movies, when we're done, as honorable mentions or something like that.
Whatever you got.
Yeah,
I did TV shows as well. So if you have a movie mixed in there, that's perfectly fine.
Whatever your choice is. All right.
Yep.
I'm going to start. We're going to start with comedy to drama. So you take a comedy that you've seen on TV or in the movies, and what would you like? That cast is going to be the same. The look is going to be the same, but it's going to be done in a comedy or in a drama way.
Yep.
Okay, so first on my list is the Flintstones. We're going to do it in animation. We're going to do the same cast, the same voices, but it's going to be a drama. We're going to get Barney and Fred into some awful weird shit. The wives are going to be catty. It's going to be, when the Great Kazoo's going to come around, that's going to be like that's going to be for sweeps week. I like this idea of a drama cartoon. We haven't, at least, in that sense, we haven't got to see like a mainstream drama cartoon. So I like the Flintstones as my first pick.
That's good. I like that.
Gen X Brian here from the Convincing Idiots podcast. If you're enjoying our show, tell a friend. And if you're not, well, tell 2 enemies.
Good.
Let's go to Brian.
Okay, so the premise here, this is a comedy to drama. So like you have a very nice, wholesome family in the 50s, set in the 50s. They decide to, I give a thumbs up on the video.
We like that.
A guy that seems nice. They decide to rent out they have an apartment over their garage. Seems like a nice enough guy. Moves into the garage, and it turns out to be just an absolute nightmare. The guy is a thug. He's into motorcycle gangs.
Knife fights, maybe.
Fights. He's got women over there all the time. He's disruptive, right? He keeps inviting himself to dinner. And it's just a whole uncomfortable situation. They just don't know.
Afraid to say no and tell him to get out.
That's right. They don't know how to get him out of there. It's a very precarious situation. It's tense all the time. Is a guy going to go off?
Kids around the same age. They don't want it to create any problems.
Yeah. The guy, he's prone to punch machinery to try to make it work.
And
that type
of
thing.
How scary he is.
That's right. So this is Happy Days.
Yep.
Right? The Fonz.
Yeah.
It's a thug, scary.
That's right.
I can see that.
I like
Henry Winkler
Y'all
could be a scary.
Chocolate leather jackets and such. Things of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah, think about that. I mean, when the Fonz was angry, that was pretty intimidating. But he's like that all the time. He's not cool. It's not funny.
No.
They're just very tense, and they don't know
And
how to
when
get
he
him out of there.
When he does, this whoa and it's cool, that's when everybody's afraid, because like when he gets quiet, that's when shit's gonna happen.
It's got very, very. It's giving fuck around and find out energy. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
What's going to set off the Fonz? You don't know. Don't want to find out.
Right.
I like that.
Don't fuck around. Don't find out.
There it is.
Right.
There it is. All right. I'm going to give you a little gumbo of each of your first two picks. I'm also going to give you an animated comedy into a drama. This is also a family, however, not as wholesome. Really, in fact, this kind of lends itself to a drama if you just kind of flip your mindset on it. In the popular animated comedy Family Guy, Peter Griffin is the main character, I would consider. And Family Guy is hilarious. There's a lot going on there. But if you just think of it in a different sense, it very easily could be a drama. Peter Griffin is a modest man on a modest income, but and he, even though he's
mentally challenged,
even though he's a family guy, he's got a lot of problems, right? His kids, he has a toddler that is very problematic. There's a lot to be concerned about there. He's constantly talking about world domination, and he seems to be a bit of a sociopath in the making.
Killing his mother.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. He's got a lot of issues there. His oldest boy, there's a lot of concern there. He is a popular target for the neighborhood pedophile. Lots to be concerned about there. And if not, all of this was not enough. The cherry on top, perhaps, his beloved man's best friend dog is always trying to fuck his wife. It's just very there's a lot for Peter to be concerned about, and all this has driven Peter Griffin to have a very unhealthy drinking problem. So if you just kind of twerk some things in Family Guy, I feel like Peter Griffin could offer you a great dramatic role. Pretty dark stuff going on in the Griffin household. So I would like to see Family Guy as a drama.
I like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can see it.
Yep.
I can see it.
Dean, what's next?
So my
Take
next
something funny and make it not funny. You do it so well. Let's go.
All right. So, of course I do. I'm gonna do it right now because this next show, it actually lends itself to, in the comedy world, zaniness. But if you turn it to a drama, it is just a group of people doing just the worst things and meaning them and doing awfulness around everything, as they all apparently have drinking problems at the bar that they own, which is Patty's. I'm going It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. You make that into a drama where these people are just not only doing awful shit, which they do in the comedy, but they now have it's almost like a mean recourse to them. Like they it's not just like, oh, this playful, what I did
it's
here.
It's not that we're like, oh, we're all awful. It's like spiteful. Like it's like, no, like
right. It's like felonious shit.
Yeah.
I think that their actions could easily lend them to being a drama, and in fact, at certain points, almost horror drama.
Yeah.
Given how awful they are. So It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is my next step.
Yeah.
Brian?
Very good. I have a bar setting as well. So the bar owner, the premises, he's we have an ex-professional athlete, stressed out, trying to run a bar, chaos. You have a handful of patrons that are alcoholics. Every day they're there,
raging,
not paying for their tabs. You're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to fill your void of your glory days of being a star athlete with, you're a womanizer that creates all kinds of problems, right? You're meeting the wrong women. there's all kinds of things going on. It's really stressing you out. A lot of drama. I mean, every day after day, a lot of drama in this setting here. Another spin on Cheers, gentlemen.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I have having never seen an episode. I thought that's where you were going with the way you were describing it. So what? The owner of Cheers, what was he?
So
what was he a famous athlete from?
Sam in the storyline was an ex-pitcher of the Boston Red Sox. So he was a star pitcher. He was well known. His career ended early, I think, with an injury or something like that.
Yeah,
so
I believe so.
Okay.
So the bar setting is still in Boston and everything like that. So he had some notoriety, which kind of helped make the bar a little bit more popular. People come in to see Sam and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
sure, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nikolai?
My next one. Comedy and a drama. This is the one I want the most. And I realize that for people that are fans of the character, this is not conducive with what he is. And so I get that. However, as someone who is simply just not a fan of the character or really the 2 movies I've seen of Deadpool, I would like to see a Deadpool that does not share the dialogue of a middle school kid. I would like a dramatic version of Deadpool, which is
Sure.
The Deadpool movies are violent and gory and over the top,
sad.
and I like that. That is a sad storyline. I would like to see that. I want to see Deadpool, but more in the light of the Punisher or like the Crow.
Yes.
Like I want to see Deadpool like that. Again, I understand that is not the spirit of the character in the comics. Deadpool is Spider-Man meets the Punisher, right? He's always these quippy lines, and he's that's the spirit of the character. But I personally don't like that. So I think I would appreciate the Deadpool movies more if they were in more of a dramatic fashion and had a serious tone to them. It would make the character more compelling to me personally, and I would most like to see Deadpool as a drama.
All right, I can see that.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
Dino?
All right. For my last one, from comedy to drama, I did have one written down here, but you know what? Off the cuff, I'm going to go ahead and replace it because it just came to me that this would be innovative because we've never seen it before. You could have so many different stories be told by having this show be a drama because there's no plot. There's no rhyme or reason. But imagine having an hour and a half show of just drama skits. Like, how cool could that be? I'm going Saturday Night Live.
No, that's good.
Drama. You get an hour and a half of just a few minute sketches being like some of just the awful shit, weird shit, sad. You know what I mean? Just instead of comedy sketches, they are drama sketches. Could be compelling.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Interesting. Yeah, I like it.
And with the exact same cast. I'm not changing the cast. See what they could do in drama.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Ryan, your last pick for this?
All right, so you have a group of friends. They are manipulative. They are selfish. They will stab each other in the. They can stab each other in the back at a moment's notice to get ahead, to get a favor. We have one guy who's he's like an up and coming comedian. It's a tough life. He's on the road a lot. He's trying to make it work with his ex-girlfriend and be friends. It's tense. You still got that sexual tension there. They don't know how to deal with it sometimes. And you can add all kinds of other dynamics to it, like maybe the guy across the hall, instead of being a guy that maybe he's like maybe he's like a drug pusher or something like that. Maybe the comedian is a drug addict.
Maybe he's a sad recluse. Like he never goes out of it's only to his apartment.
Sure, he's afraid of the outside world. He has fantasies that he's working, and he's not. You don't know how the guy's really making money. What is he doing? It's a very
nobody's ever seen
character.
Bob Mano.
Yeah. One guy has a whole storyline where his wife dies. You don't really know, well, how did she die, and it's like by licking envelope. I mean, what are you talking about?
Right.
Licking envelopes? I
Yeah.
mean, that doesn't make any sense. There's a whole mystery line there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So Seinfeld in a different light
That'd be
as
fun.
a drama. Yeah,
I like that.
sure. I think some of those actors will be fine dramatic actors.
Yeah, Michael
Right away.
Richards would be a cool, creepy, weird neighbor.
Of
That'd
course,
be
Jason
fun
Alexander,
to watch.
phenomenal.
Yeah, he could pull that
Julie
off well.
Dreyfus. Yeah, absolutely. So
She could pull off anything.
Yep.
She can pull
That's
me
right.
off. Nikolai.
For my last one, I tried to think of a movie that was maybe in many respects a comedy classic, and how would that go as a drama? And I kept coming back to the undertones of Talladega Nights. It is a comedy classic, but let's get down to it here. This is a rags to riches story of someone who came from basically not working in the pit crew, worked his way up and rose to fame in NASCAR, only to fall from grace. And literally his best friend ends up with his wife, and he's got this relationship with his estranged father, that he's always kind of left this emptiness in him. And when you really break it down, there's a lot of dramatic, sad things happening in Talladega Nights. However, it's played brilliantly hilarious by the fantastic Will Ferrell. But I feel like, once again, you could easily take something. There's some dark undertones to Talladega Nights and the Ballad of Ricky Bobby. So Talladega Nights.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So that was comedy to drama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to mention that we are aware that this essentially is done throughout movies and TV shows. For every Talladega Nights, you have a Days of Thunder.
Right.
For every NYPD Blue, you have
Police Squad.
Police Squad, or the one 9
Reno 911.
Brooklyn
Yes.
Nine-Nine.
Right,
Brooklyn
Nine-Nine. But you see what I'm saying. For
Sure,
every drum, they have the counterpoint. So we are aware that that some of these might. I'm like, oh, they already did that. No, the idea of this is we're sticking with the same cast.
Right.
We're just making them do a drama. We're making them do a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of drama to comedy, I'm going to go big hitter on this one. I know that when we do this, it's going to be a lot of inappropriate stereotype jokes. But you could easily have fun with The Sopranos as a comedy. Even with the killings of different people and the drug running, I think you could still get, and James Gandolfini was such a great actor that I think that he easily could have pulled that off as a more lighthearted, joking form of a character. So my first choice is The Sopranos.
Nice. Now I will say, it's one of those ones that I feel like I need to go watch.
Sure,
I've never seen The Sopranos, but what?
That we need to go watch that.
Oh, have you not seen The Sopranos?
I watched 2 seasons for some reason, in the middle.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask, is he he's the main character, so you're obviously endeared to him at some point. So my question was going to be is he a bad guy that you kind of root for? You know what I'm thinking? Like the Penguin, like Colin Farrell's Penguin. You're he's a horrible fucking person. But there's some stuff going on there. You're you're kind of rooting for him is strong, but you're just he's not the worst.
Yeah, it's very similar to that.
Okay. Okay, good. Nice.
Good.
Brian?
All right.
Brian,
So
what do you got?
one of my favorite comedies was Schitt's Creek. One thing that made that show funny is you took a family, you displaced them, and you put them in a town, in an area that they were not used to being in. They had to find their way to interact with the locals and that type of thing. So similar type concept, right? And the main actor was he's a very good actor. He's a dramatic actor. He's also a very fine comedic actor.
Yeah.
In his own right here. So you have a similar concept where you take a family, the dad is got himself into money laundering, right? Can't find his way out of it. You know, he kind of gets stuck. The family they move into a town, have all these wacky locals. You know, one girl's a hillbilly and already cracking jokes and everything all the time. Yeah, he's trying to avoid trouble with the law. He's trying to avoid trouble with his customers, who are a lot of seedy characters.
Mm-hmm.
Ozark. You take the great Jason Bateman, is again the star of.
Great idea.
Yeah, so you could change that a little bit and make that a very fine comedy. Yes.
Yeah, that definitely plays, especially all of the actors in it definitely would play perfectly as a comedy. I think you're right.
Absolutely. Laura Linney, Julia Garner. I mean, there's a lot of fine acting.
I would love to see, and even take away that idea, I would love to see Julie Garner in a comedy now. I think she'd be great in it.
Absolutely. She'll be the Silver Surfer coming up soon too.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Yep.
Nikolai.
Yeah, Dean, you watched that show not that long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's it called?
Fantastic.
Ozark.
HBO. I got it.
Or no, Netflix. I'm sorry, Netflix.
Yeah, I was just fishing to see if you would say it plural or singular.
Oh.
Because that was when you were watching it and you were doing reviews. It was Ozarks forever with the S. Ozarks.
Ozark.
It's been a while. I was doing it on purpose then just for the shit, but I forgot about that. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Drama into comedy. So I don't know how strict we're being with drama, but it's certainly not a comedy, right? It was meant to be taken seriously movie, as you can. But it certainly had a little bit of comedy. I don't think it intended to, but I think the way it ended left a lot of people kind of snickering at it. But I would actually like to see a different version, a more comedic through and through version of Batman versus Superman. The way they somehow bonded was comedic, but again, not intentional. What I would like to see, I would like to see them speed through, in my version of the comedy Batman versus Superman, I would like to see them kind of give you a brief synopsis of everything that leads up to the Martha thing. And then Martha's kind of where we hit our opening credits there. And then from there, it's just kind of like an odd couple thing. Like it's just wacky going on about. It's about them being BFFs. And yet, but they're so different, right? Superman
one's
is,
messy, one's clean.
Superhuman, and Batman's got the TV up too loud, and Superman with a super hearing can hear it from the next room. It's so loud to him. It's just all these things. They love each other.
Making just pajama jokes.
Yeah, they
uniform.
They love each other, but and they have a bond as strong as any great friendship duo does. The fact that their mothers share the same first name, however, they're very, very different. So I think Batman versus Superman as a comedy might be a fun little wacky thing to explore.
I like that.
Yeah,
very much so.
Good.
Okay, so. I don't know how familiar you guys are with this next drama I'm going to turn into a comedy. It was on Stars. It is the TV show called Heels.
Heels.
Oh,
it is about professional wrestling. Jason Amell plays the main character. It's about a family that runs a wrestling territory. And it is about kind of the behind the scenes runnings of a professional wrestling company, right?
Yeah.
And I think it would be great to have that as a comedy, like, because there's so many wacky characters in professional wrestling. You could, just the dichotomy of having like the most mean people on TV, and you get backstage and they're just like these goofy, off-centered, weird people. I think it would be fun to have a professional wrestling behind the scenes comedy, and I think you could do it with heels. Again,
sure.
I know you guys don't get the show, or I've never actually seen the show. I know of the previews concept. It's now actually just come on Netflix. It was on Stars for but once it's done, they got showed over to Netflix, and I'm going to actually start watching it. But I do understand the concept. So
It's a big Glow funny. Glow was funny in that respect. It was like the
Yes,
whole behind the scenes, how they tried to build that league. It was some drama, but it was a lot of funny stuff there too. So,
absolutely.
yeah. Mhm.
Was is Heels? Is that a current running show, or when was that on?
No, I think it's done. Yeah,
Okay.
it ran like 4 seasons.
It
on
sounds
Stars.
interesting. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
like to watch it.
Yeah, it's on. It just started on Netflix. I think the beginning of the year.
Okay, cool.
Great. All right. Well, I'm going to take another show. You have another actor who's the lead in the show. He turned out to be a great dramatic actor, but first known, and probably as well known for his comedic talents as well. So, it's a dad. He's a chemistry. I guess a chemistry teacher. I think it is. He decides that he's trying to make more money, and decides to try to
Stole mine.
create. He gets into a whole drug thing. But the actor himself is just a great but he's acting it maybe more along the lines of the dad that he played in Malcolm in the Middle. So the great Bryan Cranston
fumbling.
Yeah, and it's like it's a wacky cop or the other wacky police force. You got something there you could bring in somebody else there. But
you might have
Breaking
to eliminate
Bad
the cancer.
Well, that part of it there, sure, I'm sure, but
yeah,
but
I like that.
yeah, you have a whole different spin on Breaking Bad. Sorry if I stole one, Nick.
No, you're good. That is literally the next one I was going to come up with. So if I may, I'm just going to piggyback on it.
Go ahead.
I had a little bit of a different take, similar in the regard. Actually, when Breaking Bad started, I remember seeing the trailers for it on A&E, and I remember being like, "That looks really interesting. I'm going to start watching that." Same thing with Walking Dead. Just never caught it, and then by the time I ever they were before I knew it, they were seasons in, and I'm like, it's too far gone. I'm just not gonna at this point. But Breaking Bad, we did actually go back and watch after I think the whole thing was fucking over by the time we started it. But I've said before many times, even on this show, I know I have. That was one of the shows that lived up to every bit of the hype. It was every bit as good as everybody promised me it would be, and perhaps even better. But when it was first starting, my assumption of it was, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting thing. The chemistry teacher and the ex-student, and they get involved with, and I bet what happens is like they, in getting roped into the drug business, I bet they at some point end up getting hooked on what they're doing, or getting involved. And in Jesse's case, obviously he has a past with it and in and out, and he kind of does. It's touch and go. But with Walter, I was surprised after. I'm like, Walter never not once got involved in that. That was never what it was about for him. He never tried it. He never was just like, what exactly am I putting? It was never that angle. And I always thought there would be. So I thought, dark comedy as it may be, wouldn't it be kind of funny if that's how it started, but a couple seasons in, that scenario happens, whoops, you're hooked, and now it's a whole different thing. Now it's, again, addiction is nothing to really laugh at or make fun of.
Sure.
But in the dark comedic realm, if these people are hooked on these drugs in which the plan was to run an empire, and now they're just kind of, fumbling through life trying to still keep this going whilst being addicted to the thing that they're producing. Like I said, if you've got the sense of humor for that, that can be pretty funny.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, but yeah, Breaking Bad was the next one on my list as well. So, Dean, what you got? Breaking Bad? What would you do with Breaking Bad?
My last one. This one, I don't know if you could actually do in today's society, because it would be a lot of sexist jokes, a lot of male-dominated alpha jokes. But if you could put Mad Men from the 1950s set in the 1950s. If you could take Mad Men with John Hamm leading at the helm and make that a comedy, I think that could be gold. You could,
Sure.
You're making fun of the 50s and the way society, kind of like the mirror that they showed in the drama part. But you could do it in a comedic way, show you how awful bosses were to their secretaries, show you how ruthless these guys were, and how much how much they drank and whatnot. Yeah. There is, and John Hamm would be the perfect. We've seen him at this point, do comedy, so I think he could easily lead that in the 1950s setting of Mad Men as a comedy.
Perfectly stated. Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
No, go ahead, please.
No, you.
I was just saying that there's a lot of other actors on that show I could also see would be very fine comedic. I mean, there were some funny parts in that as well. But there were plenty of actors and actresses on that show that could, I could see easily being able to do comedy as well. Yep. And they have. Some actually have. Actually, since Mad Men. So, yeah. Nick?
I was going to say, in regard to John Hamm, the path has already kind of been paved because his rise to fame was Mad Men. That's how he got so big. And I feel like there's always a little bit of Don Draper that, like, John Hamm is very versatile and can do a lot of different things and can do comedy and drama so well. But when he is in comedic roles, he's a bit of a chauvinistic, tongue-in-cheek kind of character. I think the two main things I think of is like on the Saturday Night Live, the Vincent Price Halloween special, where I've just pissed myself, and he's drunk and he's always saying inappropriate things, but he's like just this debonair, handsome man, but he's just aloof and he's just kind of a fucking mess. Or in Bridesmaids, where he's just a chauvinistic asshole that's only in it for sex, and he's kind of charming, but also like kind of a piece of shit, but it's funny because, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the duality of the character.
He played a cult leader in that Kimmy Schmidt show.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
He was a cult leader and very debonair and suave and stuff, but he was also, when you pulled the curtain back, he was an idiot, right?
Yeah,
Or, hell, even the whole show could be kind of like a 30 Rock-esque thing, where, like, he is kind of Donahue, that character, Jack Donahue type character, where he's like confident in himself, but like in reality, he's a moron.
Yeah.
So
he does that really well. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
That's good.
Brian, what's your last one?
Let's see here. So, Nick kind of mentioned the show already here, but I'm envisioning, Walking Dead was a very serious show. Not many funny parts in that at all. There's a long-running drama trying to survive in the world of zombies and humans trying to survive and everything else. But a movie I didn't watch for a while, and when I watched it, it was just terrific. One of my favorite zombie movies. So you have Shaun of the Dead. So the Shaun of the Dead theme. So that type of feel, where it's it's still serious because there's still zombies there and they will kill you, but it's a whole comedic tone of living in a zombie apocalypse. Take that theme and you put that into the Walking Dead universe. I think Andrew Lincoln and some of those actors and actresses could pull that off. But it's so you're just living in that world of zombies. You're trying to survive, but it's got a whole comedic take. You could do all kinds of goofy stuff with the zombies. You can have, they have wacky ways they're killing them or wacky ways they're using the zombies.
So you take one for a pet.
Yeah. Just you could play that out for a while. I don't know if it would run as long as the actual Walking Dead series, but I think that one Shaun of the Dead movie is not enough. Basically, we could see some seasons of a television show with that tone and feel in a zombie world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice. My last one is in the same spirit, actually, Brian, and one of my favorite dramas of all time, potentially my favorite. show of all time as far as dramas go. Game of Thrones.
Mm.
There's really not a lot of like laughing going on. It's very serious and very there's a lot of emotions going on, but we're very rarely is it laughs unless it comes to Tyrion Lannister. He was a comedic character, Peter Dinklage. But I feel like you could go over the top with gore and make it funny, right? It's very,
Do you
you know,
It's merely a flesh wound.
sure, like yes, in the spirit of a Monty Python or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm talking. So I mean, they did. I guess I shouldn't take that away from them. They did go over the top with gore in a lot of respects, but I feel
Sure.
like there's a way to play that could be done in a comedic way, and I always thought it'd be funny to take something like that and just kind of goof it up a little bit, but also keep all that gore and all that shocking visual effects of that. So yeah, Game of Thrones would be fun as a comedy.
Okay.
That's
I like
it
that.
for me.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have honorable mentions, but I do have a
I do.
point that I would like to say. So you guys say your honorable mentions, and then mine are not necessarily that, but something rather to kind of tie it all together. So, Dean, what do you got for honorable mentions?
I will rapid fire mine. The one that I pulled off for SNL, Big Bang Theory, going comedy to drama. It could be neurotic, it could be sad, it could be uncomfortable. With these nerds that are socially inept and them trying to get through the world. I think it could be weird and awkward and uncomfortable.
Sure.
Another comedy drama, I had Seinfeld. The Office. Think about it this way: The Office was in kayfabe, in that reality, was supposed to be a drama. Like the what they were filming was supposed to be a drama, right? So you could make it, again, very awkward, very sad. South Park, again, just some of the worst shit. I don't know how you do it, but I just like the idea of having a cartoon drama, especially the way it's drawn and voiced. I think it'd be fun. Andy Griffith's show, it could just be a weird courtroom type drama set in the black and white, set in the 1950s. There's still. And then real quick, I'm going drama to comedy. Oz. There's so many wacky things that you can get with those prison inmates. And again, all those actors were fantastic. I think they could pull it off. I had Breaking Bad as well. And then my last one. This one is pun intended, I guess. Generally speaking, I'm saying General Hospital. I say that generally speaking because, like, I'm just going to say it would be fun to see a comedy soap opera every day. Whoever's at home, stay-at-home moms and dads, or people get off early, whatever. I'm trying not to judge here. Doesn't fucking matter. But whoever's watching these soap operas have to watch these dramas. Why not make it a comedy? Why not make some of these absurd scenarios comedic? So
I say, depending on how you look at it, in some respects, it already is a comedy. Like I watch some of those, and I'm like, "Fucking it's so silly."
But
like,
unintended.
But it's not exactly. It's not meant to be. Yeah.
So, Brian, what about your honorable mentions?
I did not put down any honorable mentions. I just had the ones that we covered.
All right. So, with no honorable mentions, then
doesn't want to do his job like the rest of us did.
What I did want to say, these are not so much as honorable mentions. In a way, they kind of are. But as I was making this list, I found myself a lot of the shows that I was coming up with or started to come up with. It made me realize the shows that I love the most or that I really appreciate a lot tend to be either dark comedies or that they do both really well, right? Like they're the certain ones that I found that I thought of as comedies or dramas. I'm like, you know what? They actually mix in a lot of laughs if they're a drama, or they actually just real quick. This is kind of an honorable mention as they are a meshing of both comedies and dramas. Only Murders in the Building it's primarily a comedy, and it is really funny at its heart. But there's a lot of serious stuff going on there. Actually, I just wrote this one down when Dean suggested Saturday Night Live. I think you should leave. I've said it before. It's the funniest fucking thing to me for whatever reason. But there's a lot of like uncomfortable, weird, like unsettling
is.
shit
Yeah.
along in there. This one might be the master of them all, and it's Shameless. Shameless is hilarious. A lot of great, funny. I mean, the dialogue throughout the show is funny, but there's a lot of really
But
sad
the premise
and
is sad.
serious shit. It is. The whole thing is very real and sad and, serious. Barry on HBO, Bill Hader's show. That's another one. It might do it as well as
I'll
Shameless.
watch
Man, that's a
that.
fucking dark ass show, but it's
Yeah.
hilarious. And Dead to Me on Netflix. Christina Applegate and
Ooh.
fuck, I don't forget her name. I love her. Linda Cardellini. I love her so
Yes.
much. But yes, that's fantastic. Like that show is funny throughout it, and it's a dark comedy as it deals with covering up murders and things like that. But the way that show ends, like, dude, I was a wreck watching the final episode of that. I was in full fucking tears. But a lot of the shows that I really love and stick with me, I find, are shows that kind of, because that's life, right? Life is a comedy and a drama in equal parts. I feel like in a lot of respects. So I feel like the shows that I like a lot that do that it's because it reflects your lived experiences a lot. So I just wanted to shout those shows out because I couldn't really categorize either one as one or the other, but rather fantastic shows that mesh the two both really well together. But yeah, good shit. It's a lot of fun.
Probably shouldn't say Saved by the Bell. What's that, Brian? Go ahead.
Zach Morris's trash is actually funnier than Saved by the Bell was. Yeah.
No, I was almost thinking MASH as a comedy, but that's one of those shows like Dick just mentioned. There's a lot of serious shit in MASH.
At times on the line, teetering on both lines.
Yeah. Scrubs is another one. Scrubs is mostly a comedy, but there's some real hard-hitting, dramatic performances in Scrubs. Some real serious shit going on at heart there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you take Scrubs and you go, well, you could make it a drama. Yeah, ER. So,
sure.
Right.
House is another version of that. I would call it mostly a drama, but it's funny. The dialogue, there's a lot of quippy little things going on, and there's a lot of funny things that break that up in House.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, I've rambled on.
Well, some people will consider this podcast more of a
rambling on.
Yeah, more rambling on, more of a drama than comedy, perhaps.
I'd say a tragedy mostly.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid that it's another tragedy. That's coming to an end.
This too shall pass.
Yes.
That's right.
Like a fucking kidney stone.
That's right. Mm-hmm. This too shall pass. We must pass. And if you're passing through the internet, the World Wide Web, my friends, let me perhaps direct you to maybe a new way to get around town. That's right. Why don't I direct you over to our friends at RPM Bike Shop? That's right. They are located in Carrollton, Ohio. You can find them on rpmbikeshop.com, which is their website, or RPM Bike Shop in the search bar on Facebook. We'll get you there as well. Give them a call today at 330-808-7792. And when you call them, make sure you let them know Nick is very sorry for forgetting about the ad read until the very last minute of this podcast. However, he does truly appreciate their fine products. Electric bikes from RPM Bike Shop. That's right. If you're looking for something else to do on the internet, I don't know. You could go find us. You can go find us on your favorite social media accounts. You could find us by just typing into Google Convincing Idiots Linktree, LINKTREE, and follow those links to all of your accounts on which you are on those platforms. You can also find our merch store link on there as well, and where you can subscribe and listen to this podcast each and every week. You can also find that information and even more on our website. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am your resident millennial Nick.
I'm Floor Cookie Dean, the Zennial.
Gen X Brian.
Have we hopefully convinced you to do a little bit more laughing than crying with us next week on Convincing Idiots? We're working towards comedy, but
We'll get there. Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.
Ham grape.
And in our main segment, we talk about comedies we want to see turning into dramas, and some dramas turning into comedies. What's our list? We'll tell you all about. That's terrible. Yeah, I got it. One more time. I got it this time. I
That
apologize.
was working.
All right.
you good?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about? That's what I meant to say.
I didn't know you fucked it up until you said you fucked it
Yeah,
up. I didn't.
same thing. You could
That
have
was
just
bad. I got it. You ever thought about?
You're
I'm going to use that. Okay. One more time. This is it.
All right.
Here.
Don't be intimidated by the fact that we're in the same shirt, but I did mine
Yeah.
first. Don't worry about it. In
Mhm.
5, 4.
And in our main segment, have you thought about some movies, comedies that you want to? Jesus Christ! All right, one more time.
It's
I got
dramas. It's the comments and dramas. It's fun.
Yeah,
Listen, fuck you.
terrible.
The comedies, they're going to be dramas. The
trying to
dramas are going to
say-
laugh at him. It's going to be great.